Okay, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Breaking news for you today. Breaking news. The NAACP, yeah, them. They done dusted themselves off, crawled up from behind or under whatever rock they've been hiding under since 1988. And decided to file a lawsuit against Donald Trump and his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, claiming that they violated the 19th century statute, the Ku Klux Klan Act, when they tried to prevent the certification of the election on January 6th. Now, I don't know if the people at the NAACP saw Trump's defense, where he outlined how in 2000 the Democrats attempted to overturn the results of the election with the hanging Chad thing. And then in 2004, the little known 2004 Bush versus Kerry election, they tried to overturn that one too. And then you all know about 2016, the Russia collusion, the 3-year, 24-hour-a-day Russia collusion thing we were beat over the heads with until they finally said, all right, enough of this. We got to switch gears. Election time's coming. Let's ramp up the racism thing. So there will probably most likely be a countersuit. Or this is definitely not going to win. Let's put it like that. There's no way the NAACP gets any traction or gets anything out of this except for getting their name in the newspapers and their name on the blogs. However, if the good people of America wanted to file a countersuit, they could. Represents Wakandans. You represent the good people of Wakanda. Last year, 2020, and I did a video on this. I'll make sure you go watch that video. I did a video on the 1st of January, a year in review of all the major cities in the United States and the issues they had with gun violence. And of course, the major perpetrators and the major victims. The majority of the victims and the majority of the perpetrators all belong to one group. And that group represents 13% of the population. So last year, 13% of the population was responsible for 60% of the murders. 60%. Should not the other 87% of this country be able to sue that group that makes up 13% of the population? I mean, think about it. 13% of the population is responsible for 60, and that's just the ones they know about. 60% of the murders. 13% of the population is responsible for 60% of the murders in this country. Just think about that. Would it not be fair, and I want you to get in the comment section to tell me this, if the other 87% of the country wanted to sue the NAACP, countersuit, since they represent that 13%. Just look at these stories, man. State line, Cincinnati. Madeira store owner killed on Tuesday. He was shot before in 2012. This guy's been shot twice in the last 8 years. And this is in a Wakandan neighborhood. This is a neighborhood you ain't gonna find anybody that's not a 13%er. You're not gonna find anybody who's not a 13%er in this neighborhood, man. And there you go, right there. That's the guy who did it. In all his glory, on the security cam. And I'm not even going to touch the Asian attacks thing. I got another video I'm going to do on that. The San Francisco attacks on Asians. I'm not even going to touch that. You know. But you would think that the NAACP, knowing that this country's 13% black, but when you go to the gun memorial, you would think this country was 80% black. I mean, isn't there a countersuit in line there somewhere? Can't we countersue the rest of the country? Or they? Can't they countersue us, our representatives at the NAACP, for all this havoc we're raining on this country? Because it's often said that America has a gun problem. It's often said that America has a gun problem. And the places where the most murders happen are in the places that have the stiffest gun laws. Democratically run cities. Stiffest gun laws. This is Philadelphia, the gun memorial for Philadelphia. Every single person on this list, except for a few, and this is the guy right here who was walking his dog. They already caught the guy who killed him, a Wakandan. Was walking his dog. Two brothers ran up on him. He didn't have no money on him. They shot him. On camera. It was on security camera. This was a big case. I did a video on it. Milan Lanchar. But the majority of the people on here are black. As in majority, I mean like 99% of them. Okay? That get gunned down in Philadelphia. This is Philadelphia. Democratically run city. Should the NAACP sue Philadelphia because 500 people got killed last year in this city and 480 of them, 490 of them were black. Here go a couple that weren't black. This guy, Idon Seldon. He wasn't black. He got killed in Philadelphia last year.
The search continues tonight for the gunman who shot and killed a Philadelphia teenager on his way to a boxing gym 2 nights ago. Action News reporter Christy Leto is live at Philadelphia Police Headquarters with more on the victim, 18-year-old Aiden Seddon. Christy.
That's right, Jim. The 18-year-old was gunned down when he was walking to the gym. His final moments caught on camera, along with the shooter, who police are still looking for. In the bottom left corner, Aiden Seddon and his best friend walk into frame. Seconds later, shots fired from behind. We pause the video as the scene details the 18-year-old's final moments. A second camera shows the suspect in a black hoodie.
Put over and over my head, that's where he was looking, not asking for help, but you can tell his eyes were saying help.
Speaking for the first time Thursday night, Terrence Lewis said he and another trainer at the famed Front Street Gym rushed to Aiden's side.
It was... For a minute, it was shock. There was a moment of shock because you didn't know really, you knew what to do but not what to do. And as fast as that happened, a police officer pulled up. So me, another coach, we threw him in the back, put him in the back of the cop car.
Police don't believe the 18-year-old was the intended target. Candles, flowers, and posters now line the sidewalk where he senselessly lost his life. His murder now part of a growing statistic as the city nears 400 homicides, up 40% from this time last year. This as community activists protested outside Mayor Kenny's home in Old City, calling for something to be done about the continued undercurrent of violence gripping city streets.
He's just a good kid, just graduated from high school. Everybody was shook up. There's got to be something done about this.
Another teen, another vigil, and another killer on the loose. Again, police have not made any arrests, so if you recognize the man in that surveillance video, you're asked to contact detectives. Live here at Police Headquarters, Christy Leto, Channel 6, Action News. Jim?
All right, so can the NAACP be countersued? Because this is every city. All the victims, the majority of the victims are African American, but the killers are also. Look at this guy, this woman. Skylar Owens Mooney.
Investigators say a man went into a church in Germantown overnight, opened fire, and then tried carjacking 2 women a few blocks away. One of those women was shot. This chaos came to an end near Germantown Avenue at Rittenhouse Street, where police shot and killed the suspect. And that's where NBC 10's Stephania Jimenez joins us live with the latest this afternoon on this wild story. Stephania.
Yeah, wild indeed, Jim. And you still have crime scene tape here where I'm standing right now in just a few feet. If you could just follow me for a bit, you're going to see white marks here on the concrete. This marks the area where investigators found shell casings. This is where police say they shot the suspect, a man who police also say shot and killed a 19-year-old woman. A quiet late morning after a chaotic early morning along Germantown Avenue.
I heard the shots this morning.
This is where police say they stopped a man who carried out multiple shootings along these locations. The first was here at St. Luke's Episcopal Church on Germantown Avenue. Police say the gunman went inside this building on the church campus where he stopped a female church employee.
He pointed his rifle at her and fired at least 1 shot at her.
She was okay, but investigators say the gunman took her car keys and drove her vehicle for a few blocks until he got here to Green and Shelton. That's where police say he opened fire trying to carjack a woman. She got away, but the next wasn't so lucky.
He attempted to carjack a second woman, and that is the individual who is deceased.
The victim was 19 years old. We're told this is the vehicle she was driving. After that shooting, police went after the suspect. Their chase ended here at Germantown and Rittenhouse. Police say they tried to get the suspect to drop his assault-style weapon, which he refused to do. Police say they shot him and he later died. Meanwhile, neighbors are upset by the violence.
I don't know what was going through this poor man's head. I don't know what's going through. I don't know, but I know one thing. He didn't have to kill nobody.
I've been here 10 years. Hearing stuff like this definitely scared me, make me think twice.
Now, investigators say that they know who the suspect is, but they have not revealed that information just yet. They also say that there's no known connection between the suspect and the 3 women that he attacked this morning. Live in Germantown, Stefania Jimenez, NBC 10 News. Jim?
Yeah, the mystery why, Stephanie, thank you.
And this was a beautiful young woman, her whole life ahead of her. Kim Kardashian look-alike. And she's gone. Beautiful young lady. Just wrong place, wrong time. Or could she have been in the right place? She could have been where she was supposed to be. She didn't know this fool was coming. And look at these names. I mean, can the black community sue the NAACP and the Democratic Party? Because this is every city. Look at Rashid, Tayshawn, Omar, Rameek, Tyree, Taysir. You got all these Muslim brothers up in Philadelphia. Eric Abdul Basir Weary, Khalid Henderson, all these Muslim brothers. All these religious folk that had these kids and they're dying. And many of these people are devoutly religious. I mean, they got the garb, they got everything. They pray so many times a day. They go to the mosque so many times. Can they sue this democratic city for their kids constantly being killed? Look at this one. This kid, Jaden Lucas, basketball player, at the court, playing some ball. Some fools came up shooting at somebody else, sprayed the entire court. Shooting at somebody else. 55 shots. Guess who got killed? Not the person they were looking for. The 18-year-old ball player who was actually there playing ball. 4 other people got shot. No national news about this. No NBA. None of that. Their personality was patient and kind. Super intelligent. Just playing some ball. Some fools came up, sprayed the joint. 55 shots. Just sprayed the whole court. Because somebody who was hanging out there, another hoodlum who was hanging out at the court was there that they had beef with, so they sprayed the entire court. Look at all these names: Nare, Tamir, Jaheem, Zaquiz, Jalil, Zamar, Alik, Zamal, Samaj, Shalia, Amir, Abdul, Rasim. All these people's parents were devoutly religious in most times. Rajib, Zamir. Can they sue the Democratic Party? Because it's like this in every Democratic city. I'm only doing Philly because they had 500 murders last year. They had the highest murder rate in the country. If I was to go to New York, Chicago, Atlanta, if I was to go to D.C., Baltimore, Columbus, Ohio, if I was to go anywhere, it would be the same exact thing. No matter where I go on this gun memorial, to any city, it's going to be the same exact thing. Okay? Newark, Birmingham, Jackson, Mississippi, New Orleans, Houston, Dallas, St. Louis, any city you go to, it's going to be the same thing. Everybody on it is going to be black. Look at this brother, Kadir Flippin.
We are learning more about the murder of 31-year-old Kadir Flippin, whose body was found in a car this morning in the Point Breeze section of Philadelphia. Action News reporter Maggie Kent is live at police headquarters tonight. Maggie, new information about the victim, reaction from those who knew him.
He was a chef, he was an entrepreneur, and he was a mentor, Jim. That's what we're hearing from friends who are still in disbelief as there are so many questions for investigators about this case.
Explore your talent within yourself.
This is video of Kadir Flippin speaking to kids in 2018 as part of a panel hosted by the Mayor's Office of Black Male Engagement, encouraging the youth to branch out in entrepreneurship.
That's what I try to preach, and I guess you could say the quote-unquote hood or to our...
This is one of those black manosphere brothers. This is like one of them brothers that you see on YouTube, like a good brother in his community doing things.
Engagement, encouraging the youth to branch out in entrepreneurship.
That's what I try to preach, and I guess you could say the quote-unquote hood or to our community.
The 31-year-old was found fatally shot inside of his running car. This doorbell camera capturing the piercing sounds of gunshots just before 6 this morning. Flippin was just steps away from Black Seed Cafe at 24th and Federal. He was the executive chef of the business.
Just lost his life too short.
Jamal Graves was Flippin's friend and barber for more than 20 years.
Fun, outgoing, cheerful. Wanted to see everybody win in the community. He was looked out for the kids.
The question for both friends and investigators is why. Police say there's no clear motive. They're working to determine whether this was a targeted attack or random shooting. Investigators still searching for the shooter at this hour. They're asking anyone with information to call the Crime Stoppers hotline. That's 215-686-TIPS.
And the NAACP thinks that suing Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani over a 1-hour riot at the Capitol where 4 rioters were killed. The worst thing that happened on the other side was that damn cop, that black cop got chased up the stairs. That's the worst thing that happened, really. And another cop had a heart attack the next day, and they tried to say that he died from injuries he happened there, but he had a heart attack the next day. You know why? There's 1,000 cops up there, so one of them had a heart attack the next day. And they saying others committed suicide, whatever. So, and people seem to think that this is a good idea, like that this is a good use of the NAACP's time and money and resources. This is what all your donations to the NAACP are doing. Like, are you serious? Like, are we, is this real? Is this really happening? Is this really happening? Is this really happening? Like, is this really happening? Is this the symbolism? This the Democratic Party and more symbolism? We don't have anything for you in this first 100-day plan, because it's still the first 100 days. So the first 100-day plan, there's nothing in there for black folk that aren't criminals or trans. If you're not a criminal, because they have prison reform and criminal justice reform, like the majority of black people I know are not criminals. The vast majority. Now the criminals I know are black, but that's because I'm black. And the murder rate is the murder rate. It speaks for itself. So there's a faction of the community that's not being checked. That's not being brought under, not being brought to heel. But these are the same guys in the community doing all this killing in every city. The same 1,000 guys in every city? Maybe I'd say maybe like 2,000 guys in every city. Some of these cities got 1.5 million people, 3 million people, 600,000 people. And yes, those guys are all black, but the majority of black people I know aren't criminals. So if you're not a criminal, and the majority of black people I know aren't trans. So if you're not a criminal and you're not trans, there's nothing in that first 100-day act for you. First 100 days, and now they're giving us this. They're going to sue Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani for the riot at the Capitol that lasted an hour. And those people got rolled up quick. Make sure you watch my video I did on the fraud Eugene Goodman. And I'm not calling that brother a fraud, but I'm calling the story, the narrative. The narrative they painted about that brother is a fraud. I did a very good video on that. Make sure you check that video. I'll put a link to that in the description box. And black people are getting tired of this crap, man. This symbolism crap, these gestures. These meaningless gestures, these meaningless symbols. What in the world is suing Donald Trump because 4 white people died at the Capitol and a white cop had a heart attack the next day? And a couple other white cops allegedly committed suicide. And a white woman got shot down like a dog by a black cop for trying to break down some door where the congressmen were. What does that do for black people? Get in the comment section, man. Like, subscribe, donate. Peace. I'm out.